It's very embarrassing. People are just going by past me and smiling, saying like, look at this dude, what is this guy doing? Yeah, I wonder the same thing actually. You can see my new gear here, my fancy fluffy microphone. I just bought this yesterday in Fnac because I was kind of beginning to make excuses for myself to not make any more videos. I was like, oh, I don't have the right gear because right now I cannot film at home because I don't have the logistics are very bad because I'm moving out and there's all these things going on. So I'm like, oh, so maybe I won't do any videos. But I was like, darn it, here I go again, making excuses for myself to not do stuff that I put myself to do. But yeah, like here I am. I was thinking of trying to do I wouldn't call it a deep dive, but a small, shallow dive into a thing I've been thinking about lately, which is essentialism. I'm talking about Greg McKeown's book, Essentialism. He, for some, is the father of essentialism, I guess. I don't know. I found out about Greg's work 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've been reading like his 2 books and listened to a lot of his podcasts he's been featured on, and all these videos and all this, just to get a grip on what does he mean by like this way of thinking, way of approaching life. He calls it the path of the essentialist. That's a whole thing. But I do find it interesting that it's a way to approach life in a way that helps us understand what are truly the things that we deem necessary to our lives, in our life. For example, if you have a bunch of clothes in your closet, like, what are you going to do about all those clothes? You don't use probably 50, 60, 70% of those clothes you don't use throughout all the year. Essentialism touches a little bit on that. What do you own that you do not use because it's not essential to you? But also, beyond the material, there's also the things you do at work. For example, the things you accept as work for you to do. For instance, if your uncle or your aunt asks you as a designer to do something for you, like a poster or a logo, and you have the tendency to accept things just without even thinking about it, without even going through this process of thinking, wait, is this essential for me right now? Is this something that I would love doing? Is this something that would benefit this person the most, actually? What I'm trying to get here is to get you to introduce you to this idea of thinking about things and like, how are they important to you, and if they are actually really important to you, and if in questioning whether or not they're just filler for you for your life. For instance, if you accept a lot of things, design works, projects, all of those things, accept a lot of these projects, and you think to yourself, well, I'm going to be a successful person for trying to achieve all these things. But you end up not achieving half of them even. You end up like procrastinating on those things. You end up, and I'm speaking for experience because this happened to me a lot. You end up with a lot of things in your plate, and you end up not even being able to do 1 or 2 things that you would love to do, but you don't have time. You said to yourself that you have to do all of these things so that you can be successful, and you end up not doing the things you deem the most important for you in your life. And that made me think a lot, like, it's not only about the material things. It's not only about the things that you accumulate in terms of clothes, in terms of furniture, in terms of things that are material, but also the things that you accumulate in terms of projects, assignments, and things in life that you set yourself to do. You compromise yourself to do those things, but you end up not doing those things. You end up, even worse, you end up not doing the things you most love. So basically, the essentialism mindset is, first of all, it makes you think about these things. It makes you think about what is really important for you in your life. What does it... Sorry, I have a call. Okay. Making you think what is the most essential for you in your life. Right now, I hung up the phone because I think it's more essential for me to record this video and have this done than to have to answer this phone call right now. It starts with that first step, understanding what do you think it's the most essential for you in your life. The second step would be just now that you know what's most essential for you, you have the power in your hands to make the decision of whether or not you want to keep these things you now know are not essential for you. And that's probably the hardest part. Like, I've been experiencing this firsthand lately in a very tangible way. Like, I'm moving out for a few months. I'm getting my things ready to move out, right? It's like clothes and all that. And in this process, I'm like going through my things and seeing so much just junk I have, like in my wardrobe, clothes I'd never use, things I don't even really enjoy having, and like, why don't I just throw it away? And it's the same thing about the things we compromise ourselves to do in our lives, right? There's all these projects we set ourselves to do, but like, why are we doing those things? Is it worth it? Sometimes it is worth it. Sometimes it's just pretty hard. It's just blatantly hard, and as hard as it is, but you do enjoy that thing. It's a thing that you really appreciate. It's a thing that you think it's essential for you in your life. It brings you happiness. It brings you financial freedom. It's some way or another. It's essential part of your life. But there are probably all these things like holding you back, things that you don't even need. I think what Greg is doing in his work is really trying to understand what is essential. Do I really need to record an hour of video, or can I just for half an hour, 45 minutes, just come here, with this beautiful scenery, just sit on a bench, start recording, and just shoot a video? Can I just do that? Can I just do what is essential? And that's another thing. This kind of ties in more to another book he wrote. I was mostly referencing his first book, Essentialism. In his second book, which is Effortless, it came out, I think, much more recently. I'm not sure if I'm mixing things up. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that in Effortless, he talks about do we actually need to make things hard on ourselves? Sometimes we want to exert like an Herculean type of effort in doing things when it's not necessary actually to do that thing. There's this, I think it's a theory created by an economist named Pareto. I'm not sure about this. I'm not good with facts. Sorry. Futures there. Fact check this, please. It's called Pareto principle, which is basically states that 20% of your work represent 80% of the results. So if you do just the essential thing, it's gonna produce the most results for that thing to be done. For instance, if you're making a college assignment or a project at work, there's most likely something that you could do right now that will represent like the bulk of the project you're doing, 80% or so. Sometimes it might be an exaggeration, but it's a very good approximation of how things really actually work. It's actually a pretty good exercise. It has been a pretty good exercise for me personally, thinking about these things, really questioning whether or not what I'm doing is essential in terms of is this really going to produce a lot of results, and also is this really actually essential for me in my life right now? Is this something that I value, that I want to do, or is it something just that I just could throw away? Can I just stop the video right now and end the recording on this awesome note? Yes, I can.